Hello and welcome to the Business of Meeting podcast. I'm your host, Eric Rozenberg. Over the years, I've had the privilege of helping businesses in the meetings and event industry grow and succeed. And I'm excited to share that experience with you. If you feel alone and overwhelmed, and if you're looking to take your business to the next level, improve your strategy and sales, and connect with like minded professionals, you are in the right place. I invite you to visit eventbusinessformula.com and join our community of event business owners dedicated to exponential growth. Now, let's dive into today's episode. Hello, and welcome to a new episode of the Business of Meetings podcast. Today, we're going to speak about engagement. We're going to speak about how you can design a unique experience. And I'm going to share with you an amazing conference I attended 2 weeks ago and all the different touch points and why it was so phenomenal. But before we get into that, I have to share with you one of my favorite interviews of last year that I saw on YouTube is with Jeff Bezos. And Jeff Bezos was asked, Mr. Bezos, how do you plan for the future for the next 10 years with Amazon? How do you plan for all the change that are going to happen and to adapt your strategy to that? And the answer was phenomenal. He looked at the journalist and he said, well, actually, I'm looking at what is not going to change. And the two main things that are not going to change is nobody's going to come and tell me, Jeff, my product is too cheap. I want to pay more for it. And the other thing that is not going to change is that they're not going to tell me, Jeff, the product is coming too quickly. Can you wait another week? So then they're basing all their strategy, their research, their technology on that. And if you translate that to our industry, the meetings and event industry, and if you are a business owner in this industry, what is not going to change? Yes, there's a lot of change with AI. Everybody's wondering how you can apply that. For sure, those who are not using AI are going to be left out. There is no doubt about it. The question is not about AI. The question is not how you are implementing AI. The question is what is not going to change. And I think that two main things are not going to change in the future in our industry. The first one is we will always want to have personal meetings. We will always want to come in person. It's part of being a human being. And the other aspect, which is not going to change, is linked to that as well, is that we will always crave for unique experiences. If you think about it today in this world, we've never been so highly connected with all the technology and the social media and the smartphone and AI and all the tools that we can use. So we've never been so connected, electronically connected, or with all those tools, but we've never felt so much alone. And that is where you have to think about what is not going to change. We will always want to come in person. We always crave to have unique experiences. And even if you are feeling alone, and as a business owner, more than anyone else, you know what it means to feel alone. You want to create moment where you come in person when you see other people. This is not going to change in our industry. I'm absolutely convinced about that. So before I share with you what happened 2 weeks ago, and I'm sure it's going to give you also some ideas that you can implement in your own business. Let me share some example of what I meant by unique experiences and what I did. So for 20 years, over 50 countries in the world, I organized product launch, sales meeting, incentive trips, absolutely crazy and unique experiences that people are still talking about today. And I'm still very proud of having done that. Although I'm also very happy that I am not traveling that much anymore, although it was absolutely amazing. Now, the thing is that the two examples I want to share with you, the first one was at the FIFA World Cup in 1998, where all those false tickets, it was a disaster. And we were two agencies in Belgium to actually deliver the tickets to our clients. And I'm not going to go into the detail today about all the fake ticket and people and all the crooks that I met in a month. It was a disaster. But I wanted to make sure that for my client, I was delivering on my promise. And so I managed to get absolutely amazing tickets that were including the semifinal and the final, but also that were including something on the Friday, the 10th of July, 1998. I'll never forget. On that Friday with my clients, we were under the Eiffel Tower in Paris listening to the concert of the three tenors. Yes, Luciano Pavarotti, Placido Domingo, and Jose Carreras. It was absolutely phenomenal. You can watch it on TV. I've watched it on TV and I love it. It is not the same as really being in place there, listening under this majestic tower and listening to the voice of those three tenors. Those are moments that you never forget. And so that's always the question: what can you create that is unique that people are not going to be able to duplicate? Because then they will want to come to the conference you're organizing, to the event you are organizing. The second example I want to give you, and obviously I have many. We had a client that was inviting, sorry, the top coffee makers and coffee distributors in the world and in Europe. And one of them was actually coming from Nestle, and we were in Lausanne. And Lausanne, Nestle is based in Vevey, and Vevey, Lausanne is, I don't know, 20 minutes by car. And we were having this event at the Hotel Beau Rivage, for those who know Lausanne. You know, if you're working in Vevey, and chances are that you've been many times to the Beau Rivage for lunch if you're in business. And so we needed to create something absolutely special. And what we did, we started in the cellar, and we had the sommelier giving some wine tasting for us, with some appetizer. And then from the cellar, we moved to the main kitchen that is distributing the entire hotel. And we were on the side, and the chef was preparing a first little course for us. Then we took the escalator. We went into the Michelin restaurant and had the second little course. And then we moved into the Sandoz room under the chandelier in the same room where Diana Ross got married. We had a huge table with all the guests. And then we moved into the bar for the cheese and wine. And then we went into the library for dessert. We did a dine around in the hotel. And I promise you that even the people working in Vevey, they've never done it. And they haven't done it since, because it was really unique. The question is, based on the idea of your client, based on the objective that they have for the meeting, based obviously on the budget, what can you create that is absolutely unique, that is linked to their objectives and what they're trying to achieve and their expected outcome, but really be a little creative and have fun with it? I would go to many trade shows. I will go to many conferences. I was reading a lot and still reading a lot. I had all those ideas, and I was thinking, for which client can I apply that? So those are two quick examples of unique experiences that you can create, and that creating memorable experience, memorable memories that people are still talking about years later. So when it comes to those conferences, about creating those unique experiences, that's where we're talking about the engagement. That's where we're talking about, wow, it's because I was with that company or that organization or that association or that community that I was able to experience those moments. And so not only am I happy to be there, but I want to be there the following year as well. So 2 weeks ago, what did I do? I went to an amazing conference, my favorite conference in the year, and it's called MMT, Mastermind Talk. It was founded by Jason Gaignard 11 years ago. Him and his wife Candice organized this conference for 11 years now. They're based out of Toronto. And it's absolutely amazing, the community of entrepreneurs they've created. And some of the elements that I want to share with you, I'm sure you can take as an inspiration and start thinking for your own event, for your own conference, for your own community. What are the different touch points that you have? And making sure that you are looking in a different way, a different approach, being creative and creating this engagement. So what do they do? First, they have different touch points throughout the year online. You have different formats. I'm going to go into the details. They're secret sauce as well, but they basically create different opportunities for members of the community of entrepreneurs to come together. They do a lot of curation. There's an amazing process. They have a team. Someone's dedicated to doing the interviews, all the recommendation. And by the way, if you want to know more about MMT and Jason, if you want to listen to the podcast episode 100, he was my guest on episode 100 of the Business of Meeting podcast and explain all of that. So you have all those touch points throughout the year. And then there's the one annual conference, in-person conference. Now, you might not believe what I'm going to tell you, but it is the reality. It's my favorite conference in the year, as I said. I don't know who's coming, and I don't know the agenda. I don't know who's going to be the speakers. I don't know who's going to be the attendees. I know it'd be people from the community, but I don't know who's attending that conference. And I cannot wait to go to this conference like all the other people attending. How and why is that? Because of all the years of creating those different moments, these different opportunities for engagement. Another example that illustrate my point about the engagement. Every time you're going to the conference, you have to fill in an intake form. Okay. And it's 15, 20 minutes, sometimes a little bit more, to answer all the questions about what's happening in your life, about your objective, what you're trying to achieve, what you're working on, how you see your future, what are the things you're working on, what are your hobbies, whatever it is. And so it's a very deep intake form, and they will take those intake forms and they will look at the commonalities between the different people. And that's how they're going to assign the seats for the meals and assign the seats for the keynote session. So imagine you are sitting, and I was sitting with three people, the three person I haven't met before in person, and one I had met online, and that was it. And we were sitting next to each other at a table, and two things happened at that moment. First, you know that you have one common point with the person. You have to try to find what it is. And second, they also have questions on the table. One question, an icebreaker if you want, but something deep that you start exchanging with each other. And so you create immediately an environment and a container where the level of the deepness of the conversation are absolutely unique. That is absolutely phenomenal. But imagine the work that needs to go into the preparation to read all this intakes form, to seat people next to each other, and also changing at every session. And then you have a balanced agenda. You have keynote session, topics personal, health, business, sometimes very tactical, sometimes and always very inspiring. But there's a lot of different format in the keynote, the roundtable, and then the agenda is also built in a way that you have time to connect afterwards. You have time to talk with other people. You have time to select some activities that you're going to do together. We're going to do with a part of the group. And so there's really a very well balanced agenda with those activities, with those different sessions. Again, as I said, the keynote are absolutely inspiring and make me think a lot. I'm taking a lot of notes, which is great. And also, I have to tell you, 2 weeks later, my mind is still floating. I'm still thinking about the conversation I had. But what is phenomenal for me, and that is something that if you want to take the time and if you are very intentional, you can create that, is the fact that because of the agenda, because of the intake form, because of all the things, because of all the touch point, you basically end up with people in a room and you have time to speak with them and you want to speak with them because you know that you're surrounded by absolutely amazing individual. So I cannot count the number of conversations I've had. And I'm going back into the Rolodex and oh, I spoke with that person, I was with that person, I with that person. It's absolutely mind-boggling. And those are different aspects, those are different example, but all put together, that's how you create something absolutely unique. And how unique it is, again, as I said, my mind is still floating. I have concrete action that I'm working on. And believe it or not, I'm already registered for the conference in 2026. So I wish for you that you can take the time to do that, that you have the mindset to do that, that you can create unique experiences, that you can look at a different touch point, that you can look at the fact that people are coming together in person more than ever. The need is there for our society at large and definitely for our businesses and our associations. And that you think about all those touch points and how you can create this unique experience. Last but certainly not least, if you're a business owner, and you love this industry as much as I do, and you want to grow your business and you have any question, please reach out to me. I'll always happy to help, share my experience, guide you, or put you on the pathway where you can grow your business and you can start getting a life and you can stop going from one project to another and get out of the hamster wheel and have a real business. Thank you. And I'll see you at the next industry conference or on the next episode of the Business of Meeting podcast. Thank you for tuning in to the Business of Meeting podcast. I hope you found today's episode valuable. If you enjoyed the show, the most important thing you can do is leave a review and share it with your colleagues. It really helps spread the word. I truly appreciate your support. And if you're ready to take your business to the next level, don't forget to visit eventbusinessformula.com to learn more about how we are helping even business owners like you. Thanks again for listening, and I'll see you next time.